economic performance of Indian GDP with some other relevant point. Let's forward in this video. This video's agenda is the Indian GDP growth rate comparison with the purchasing power parity. That means triple P of GDP outlook. And this percentage basically indicates the contribution made by the various countries like US, UK, Germany, Japan, France for the purpose of overcoming with the COVID-19 impact in the terms of stimulation package. And fourth, and the last point is that the big backing support made by the stimulation package in the growth of Indian GDP. Let's talk about the Indian GDP outlook. Recently, this CG, that is the central government, issued some statistics data related to the Indian GDP performance. In this particular data, India is growing at a rate of 13.5% year on year, and due to this growth, India becomes the fifth largest economic in the world by surpassing the UK, United Kingdom, recently. But over the social media, specifically LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm saying that some people of India are not appreciating this one because they are comparing the economic growth with per capita income. The simplest definition of per capita income is that the level of GDP outlook divided by in the monetary term, the GDP value in the monetary term divided by the number of population residing in that particular company, the value which will come by doing this process is known as a per capita income. So UK's per capita income is a 47,000 USD in per annum. If we compare same thing with the Indian per capita income is 2,500. But there is one more concept coming into an economic picture is that the purchasing power parity, that means the triple P. The purchasing power parity is the simplest thing is that the capability of purchasing the goods or services with respect to comparing the two countries' currency. Let's understand with the concept of India and the UK in the very simple example. Suppose that in India, a person earning 15 lakh rupees and they are maintaining their lifestyle in a good way. But the same lifestyle, if he want to maintain at a UK, then he is required to earn 95 lakh rupees. That means the 70 lakh rupees more than his present income. This is not a good thing for the comparing the growth of GDP with the per capita income. Because the population residing in that particular country is very less if we compare with the India. India is the second largest population in the world. But I think so. This figure will be achieved by the India, but in the few decades, it is not going to possible. Let's talk about some other report issued by the SBI with context to the Indian GDP. In the SBI report, it's mentioned that if India will able to maintain the 13.5% of growth over a period of 10 years, that means one decade, at the end of 2031, then happen if the India able to maintain this growth rate. Why? Because India has the proper available resources. India has the largest number of young age population who is willing to contribute toward the economic growth, basically the Indian economic growth. But due to the lack of opportunity of the employment in India, currently we are facing this economic problem. Due to this, there are hurdling in the growth of economic. But I think so in the future, this will be solved by our government too. Third thing, the USA, UK, Germany, Japan, and France. If we see that the USA now 27% of their GDP in the terms of stimulation package, in the same manner 20%, UK, Germany 20%, and Japan 53%. It's a huge amount. France 11%. if we calculated 27% of the US GDP, it has stood up $5.5 trillion, and the $1 trillion directly infused in the bank account of the US resident. And this will boost up the inflation in the US country, and to the some extent UK, Germany did the same, and Japan did at a very extensive manner, and the France also did the same in the well little manner. So these few countries, which is the developed country, are facing the inflation problem because they did not able to understand the simple concept of the economic, that the demand and supply. And fourth point is that the back end support. What do you mean by the back end support? Whether the India is able to achieve 13.5% due to only on the basis of economic output, well, I don't agree on that point. Why? Because India announced a $300 billion of stimulation package in the two phase, and which stood around 3.5% of overall Indian GDP. I know this amount is not a big for the purpose of overcoming from the COVID-19 impact, but in the manner in which the $300 billion expanded into a market, and with a consultation with the RBI, which allowed the CJ to invest or to infuse these $3 billion into Indian economy in a very calculated manner. एक सिंपल सा हिंदी में है ना, आपके पास अगर कुछ कम है तो उसको ना बहुत सोच समझ के आप यूज करो, वही आपको 100 टाइम्स आपको छटेगा. And in the Indian economic scenario, this thing happened. Why I'm saying $300 billion of stimulation package infused in the public utility like education, health, administration, and a public incentive. That means a growth incentive. And definitely these things help India to achieve the 13.5% of growth, because these things are not showing the impact in the short run. Over the period of time, the impact of the stimulation package are coming in front of us, like in the case of US, UK, Germany, Japan, France happen. And one of the very interesting fact is that the European Union also facing an energy crisis due to the Russian and Ukrainian war. And I hope that maybe I am wrong, but I hope we are going toward the global economic crisis. Why? Because just European Union is one of the biggest contribution in the Indian economy, in at the global economy. So if these countries' economic are in trouble, then a domino effects definitely happen, and we all are facing those problems. Specifically in the China, the real estate crisis are going on. So I'm resting my voice here. Thank you for watching my video. Jai Shri Krishna.